Okay, hi, this is Chef Paul. We're going to be making a cinnamon bread. So a real basic cinnamon style coffee cake bread. It's another quick bread similar to the blueberry muffin. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and add sugar. This is going to be for the center, so which I'll show you in a minute. So we got that. We got a little bit of sugar. We're going to add some cinnamon to it. Okay, it's going to add a little bit of cinnamon to it. And then we're going to add a little bit of butter. You know, kind of similar to how we did the streusel. A little bit of butter. And I'm just going to use a fork. So I'm going to grab a fork and we're just going to kind of break this up a little bit and just kind of break it through. You don't need to use there's no flour in it this time. You're just going to add a little bit of butter into here, and we're going to swirl this into it. So I'm just going to break it up like we did the cutter, just using a fork. I'm stirring it up. And that's it. Just kind of get it all broken up. Push it through. Everyone. All right, that looks pretty good. And then I'll show you how we're going to do this. How we use this in the cinnamon bread. We're going to put it in the middle and on top. I'll show you once we get the bread done. All right, we're going to be making now the actual batter for the cinnamon bread. It's just basically the same thing as the muffins. It's just got, you know, different flavoring ingredients. So we're going to start with the dry ingredients the same way we did the other ones. So I'm going to go ahead and put the flour inside. Okay, get the flour going. So we start with our dry. Make sure you make it flat. It's important that you make a cup of flour like that. It's not mounded. All right, so now we're going to get the rest of it in here. I need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Let's do this. Same thing, flat. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. 1, 2. I'm looking at the recipe so I make sure I get it right. Half a teaspoon of baking soda. I'm going to come over to the baking soda. I'm going to get a half a teaspoon of baking soda. Same thing, making sure it's flat. You know, make sure it's flat. There we go. Perfect. Those are our leaveners in this one, so it's a chemical leavener. Now we're going to go ahead and do 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, because this is a cinnamon bread. So here we go. I'm going to do the 1. I'm going to do a half. And a half. Same thing, got it, okay. Then we're gonna do a teaspoon of salt. Same thing, making sure it's flat. All right, make sure I got everything. So I got the flour, I got the baking powder, I got the baking soda, I got the cinnamon, I got the salt. So we got all the dry ingredients in here. I'm gonna grab a spoon and we're just gonna mix it. So we're just gonna kind of mix up our dry ingredients, okay? Just kind of mix them up. And then in the other bowl, I'm gonna go ahead and do the wet ingredients, okay? So there we go. So we got our dry ingredients here. Now we're gonna go ahead and do our wet ingredients. So we're gonna be using buttermilk again. I'm gonna do 1 cup. I have an actual half a cup, so I'm gonna end up doing this twice. 1. There we go. So that's 1 cup. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and put the sugar in. Remember, we're gonna add the sugar to the wet side. So we're gonna do a whole cup of sugar here. All right, gonna get that in there good. 1 cup of sugar. Boom, all that sugar in there, 1 cup of sugar. What else am I missing? We got buttermilk. Now we're gonna do our eggs. So this calls for 2 eggs. So I'm gonna put my 2 eggs inside. 2 whole eggs. So I'm just gonna go ahead and crack 2 eggs, right? 1 egg, do the other egg, boom. 2 eggs, so we got 2 eggs in there. All right, next. I'm gonna put some vanilla. Vanilla extract right here. Same thing, it's gonna call for 2. I'm just using the cap again, it's just easier. 2 teaspoons, boom, done. All right, so now in here I got the buttermilk, we have the sugar, we have the eggs and the vanilla. The only thing we're gonna add after that is gonna be we're gonna add the vanilla, the oil. So I'm gonna mix this up first, like this, get it all mixed. And get it all mixed like this. Whoa. And then I'm going to pour it into that, the dry mixture, and then we're going to add the fat again. Same way we did the blueberry muffins. This is how you make a quick bread. Any type, it could be a banana bread, any type of bread. It's all the same way. Your flavorings are all just different. All right, so there we go. We're going to put that inside here. Add this into our mixture. All right, I'm going to mix that up. Start mixing it. it's all mixed. I'm gonna get a rubber spatula again. We gotta get it all in there. So once we get this mixed in here, I'm gonna get a rubber spatula and get the rest of it. You can see, if you look in here, you can see that it's not all out. So you gotta have a rubber spatula to get everything out. So we're gonna grab another rubber spatula. And we're gonna make sure you always do this when you get everything, right? You know, get it all always. Get it all there. All right, there we go. We got everything now. So now I'm just gonna mix it, and then I gotta add the oil, right? So that'll be the last thing. Once I get it all here mixed, keep mixing it. There we go. Now I'm just gonna go ahead. Now I'm gonna add the oil. Calls for 1/4 of a cup. And this is what makes it so it's not dry. Okay, I'm gonna add some oil into it. Just oil that in there. That in. Now it should get nice and smooth. It should get nice and smooth. That's what we're trying to do here. Shiny and smooth. Keep mixing it till it's nice and smooth. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is now I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. We're going to put that cinnamon mixture that we made. I'm going to show you how we do it. All right, we're going to finish up our cinnamon bread here. It's really, really simple. We made our mixture that I'm going to show you how we're going to do it. It's just the sugar, the cinnamon, and the butter, and I'll show you what we're going to do with it. And then we have our batter, very similar to the muffins. It's the same type of a quick bread there. This time we're going to bake it in a loaf though. So I'm going to spray it so it doesn't stick. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put half of this down, and then I'm going to take half of that cinnamon mixture, and I'm going to put it in there, and I'm going to kind of mix it into it. Then we're going to put the other half on, and we're going to put it on top, and we're going to mix it on the top, and then we're going to bake it. So here we go. I'm just going to try to roughly put half, you know, you're going to eyeball this. There we go. That looks about right. So you're just going to kind of eyeball that, and then we're going to put the rest down. Kind of let it go like that. That's it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to just sprinkle this on the top of it. I'm going to, you know, again, use about half of it. That's about right. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to, whoa, don't do that. Don't do that. Let me get another fork. Here we go. You're just going to take a fork and you're just going to move it back and forth. And just kind of move it back and forth a little bit in there to kind of swirl it in. There you go. Put that butter chunks in there and everything. That looks good. Just kind of swirl that in. That looks good. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. Take the same part here. Put that inside. And you scrape all of it. You got to get all this. Move it so it gets in there. Move it in, fill it up, and we're going to put this on top. So it doesn't matter. We got most of it. Gonna cover it up, just kind of move it back. Coat it. There we go, moving it back. And now I'm going to put more sugar, the rest of it on top. I'm going to swirl it again. Just get it all in there. Here we go. I'm just going to use my hands. Take this again. Put this in. All the cinnamon sugar in here again. I'm going to swirl it. Using the same one, just kind of swirl it. Back and forth. Getting that cinnamon sugar in there. And this is going to make a real basic cinnamon bread. Great, you know, kind of like a coffee cake. Okay, there you go. Now we're going to put this in the oven and we're going to bake it. It's probably going to take about 50 minutes. It's going to take a while. So I'm going to put it in the oven. Let it set. We'll check it in 45, see where we're at. Then we're going to make a glaze. And we're actually going to glaze this when it's all done. All right, so we took the cinnamon bread out of the oven. It's sitting here. It was in there for about 50 minutes. We had to stick it. You can either stick a knife or if you have a skewer in there to make sure that it comes out dry. Now we have a glaze. This is basically a very similar glaze, same glaze that we made for the scones, if you remember. I'm just going to pour it on top of it. And with this, I'm going to go ahead and pour it on top when it's warm because I just want to lightly coat it. So I'm just going to kind of put this on here and we're just going to let it go. Keep going here. Just going to put this on there and let it set. Glaze on here. There we go. This is a vanilla glaze basically. And I have something underneath it to catch it, so I'm not making a mess. Let it set there like that. Let that go. Then we're going to put just a little bit. Put a little bit of powdered sugar on it. There you go. All right, there you go. There's a cinnamon glazed bread.